Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I took the short notes.
Do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Can I just make one statement on that while we're on that?
Yeah.
Just want to remind the board that executive session for the evaluation of personnel is allowed the board to have an opportunity to meet on me.
Okay,
So just give generalized feedback
okay.
for Julie to bring to the superintendent evaluation committee.
Okay, except Julie's not
Nancy's
on
on
it
it now.
anymore, I am.
Oh, got it. All right. However it's working.
Yeah.
Yes, so that Nancy can bring it. That's, just wanted you to know that that's what. that
Oh,
is.
okay. Thank you. Any other adjustments? Seeing none. Do we have any public? Any public comment? I don't see any.
I see no public.
No public, okay. Approve the minutes from November 18th. I have a motion.
So moved.
Okay,
Second?
thank you. Any discussion? Okay, thank you. Correspondence, anything coming in the mail here? No. Okay. Board comment.
I would just say I hope tomorrow is well attended and it goes well.
Thanks, Julie.
Yes, thank you. I'll be there.
Good, because I can't be there. I'm on grandkid duty tomorrow.
You've done plenty of running around for the district and board lately.
But in any case, yeah, I'm glad.
Great.
Are you gonna be there, Julie?
No, I have a meeting I can't get out of at school.
Yeah,
I'll be there looking ornery.
good. Okay,
I just texted David.
Executive session.
David is on.
Is that David? No, David Rue. Maybe we move to celebration learning and then we
yeah,
can grab
let's
that.
do that. Okay, celebration of learning.
Yeah.
Who's on?
High school's up this month.
Okay,
And Parker's gonna pull up some slides. I'm actually gonna let Jack talk a little bit. But just to introduce this, tonight we're gonna talk about our elective seminar courses. And when we made some adjustments to our schedule last year, it created this one extra block that I'm not quite sure how best to utilize. And if we go back a few years with our flexible pathways program, we had tried these called exploration classes. And the whole purpose was really to create opportunities for students to engage in authentic learning that was kind of chosen by them and self-directed and something that they were passionate about. And we had some mixed success with that. And one of the things that we found was that students still needed some help kind of guiding and getting in that direction for some of these ideas and how to fully think that through. So we tried to reboot that this year with the new schedule. And what we asked was that staff work together to create high interest learning opportunities. And when our schedule allows us to have a full day Friday, which is about half the school days within the year, we have this extra period at the end of the day, and that's when students move into their elective seminar. So I'll just read off the offerings that we have. They're nature journaling, we have a book club, ethical fashion design, there's school newspaper, there's shop work, there's timber sports and survival skills, whittling, podcasting, learning how to play the acoustic guitar, career explorations, wares and fairs, adulting 101, world building, mixed media, we have a counselor's corner, CrossFit, jazz band, dream mentoring, forensics club, and feminist theory. And so at the start of the year, students had an opportunity to learn a little bit about each of these offerings, who's going to be teaching it, and then select the courses that they engaged in. And through this, students have been learning. There's a real emphasis on engagement with the community. So where some of our classes are taught by community members themselves, We have lots of guest speakers, experts that come in for different content areas. Some of the activities, like our wares and fairs, is connected to community craft sales and giving back in different ways. And it's been we've had some really rich learning opportunities here. This past Friday, so before I get there, one of the ways that we are assessing all students through these electives is through the WRBSU Portrait of a Learner characteristics. And so that real world application we felt was really important and is a great connection to some of the initiatives in the SU. So this past Friday, we had our first celebration of learning, which was intentionally small, just an in-house for ourselves kind of presentation. And students have been working on kind of whatever their projects were and having the opportunity to present, demonstrate, talk about the things that they've learned, as well as students getting to go around and ask questions and kind of learn more about what folks have been doing. And I'll say that I was absolutely blown away by the energy that there was in the gymnasium during this, the engagement from both students who were going around asking their peers about their learning, from students who I know in classes often are quite shy and don't offer up a lot, were really providing me great and very rich detail about the things that they had been doing, the projects they were working on, explaining it. It was really just a wonderful opportunity. We're going to be doing this again in the spring, at which time we'll open it up and invite community members in and kind of celebrate and learn with us. But when we were discussing some of these at the previous board meeting, Jack and Abby have joined as student reps to the board through one of these elective seminar courses, the school newspaper. And I'll let Jack talk a little bit about his own experience and anything else he wants to share related to that.
Yes, I highlighted a few of these seminars that I think are particularly important for building life skills that like you don't just get in the classroom, you're like learning math or like a language. So the school newspaper, obviously, I think when someone else asked me like what the purpose of that was, I said it was to like not only engage the students and like get them to hear about what we were doing, but also like get students engaged with stuff outside of the school. Also podcasting, I think that's a good skill. I think one of the things that we as kids lack nowadays, especially with a lot of technology, is the social skills, like the face-to-face and being able to continue a conversation, not cutting it off halfway through to get your scroll in. Adulting, like especially important, like skills like learning how to actually understand your W-2s, like for kids who work, and being able to address a letter properly or send an email with the right format, which I think we lack a lot today. Also, like adulting is taught by a community member in Bethel who owns like a shop, Shannon Cornelius. Yeah, I think honestly, I think these are skills that like we wouldn't be able to learn like right now as we are as like a society, like without these particular channels. And yeah, I think they're incredibly important. Sorry, I'm at like a loss for words, talking too fast to I think. Yeah, sorry, I'm blanking. You want to talk for a second just so I can catch myself up?
Yeah. Jack, does Abby have the newspapers?
Actually, yes, it's got a sign-in sheet. This is our first one, like their school has ever done, first edition. So there's some spaces we overshot. We tried to produce a lot more than we could handle at the time, and it's hard. Like Mr. Oak said, it's only on full day Fridays, which is every other week, and we get an hour to actually work on this, like as a whole. Our sections are the front page on the website, and I think it continues. Yeah.
This looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
It looks so good.
Yeah, I think one of the amazing things about the seminars is that it's kind of self-governed. I mean, like you get to choose where you want to go and you get to choose what you want to do. After we had this presentation in the gym, the newspaper group, we went back and we talked about what we could do better what went well, and how we could change in the future to get more people on board and like really fluent with this. Because the idea of the dry run, I would call it, in the gym was so that like when the community did come in, we have a really easy way explaining and showing what we were doing. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen this many kids engaged and really passionate about what they were doing. Like it was kind of awesome to see. I mean, some, like Mr. Oak said, some kids that I see in class kind of in the corner, like just getting by, like doing their work, like but not really fully immersed in it. Like it was incredible to see some of the kids like with ethical fashion, like they're like it was their passion. They got to really explore that option like through school. I don't know. I think it's great to see how many people are engaged in a not like typical way.
It's great for me when you hear Jack say self-governed, because that was always that balance that we were trying to find with the first time of allowing students the autonomy to drive their own learning. But then the reality was we only saw that in a small percentage. So to flip this a little bit and give lots of diverse opportunities, and then students freedom within that to take it in different directions, I think we did find the right balance there.
Yeah, also like again to emphasize the outreach on our community, like the Dream program. For those who don't know, it's like a mentorship program for kids who might struggle socially or like with school, like having an older kid paired with them to help them really focus and give them motivation to really engage in school more. Historically, Dream hasn't been a huge program because it's been like during lunch periods. Like last year I was in Dream and it was really hard to balance eating my lunch and also like talking about like the kids we were working with. But I think having it like as a structured course like is incredible, and I think that's the biggest I've ever seen Dream.
We have one anecdotal story from an elementary parent about that, whose child was participating, and they were a little reluctant at first, didn't think that they, wanted to be in it. And then after the first experience, got so excited and has just been really engaged and passionate about it, which is what the mother was hoping for when she kind of was pushing for this. So to see that engagement and then the connection for elementary students to older high school students as role models is always a nice connection to see in a small school like this where you have those opportunities. So I think that goes both ways. The high school students are getting a lot out of it as mentors themselves, and vice versa.
Also, like I think that like there is a career exploration seminar, but also like all of these in their own way are kind of a career exploration. Like my parents have always told me, as long as you know what you don't want to do, that's the first step. And I think this is kind of the opposite. I mean, kids like see what they want to do and they get to really explore it through school. Like again, in the way they wouldn't get to in like a typical classroom setting. But like the Dream setting, like a lot of the kids, like who I see doing Dream, like I could see them as teachers and people who are good like role models and who people like naturally listen to. And I think it was good to see them do that. I mean, you can really see like it's kind of like a window, like you get to see into the future. And I think just all around, it's like an amazing way to incorporate that into like regular school. That's all for me. Sorry, I'm talking fast, but
That is awesome.
Very awesome. How often does it change? Like, is it for the year or semester?
For
or
the year.
For the year,
Yep.
okay.
There's only about 22 full day Fridays, I think. I don't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And so that list of activities of choices, how was that generated?
It was staff interest ideas, and so we put out a lot. There was a few courses that just didn't have enrollment that we closed, but so far everybody has seemed to have found a good niche.
Nice. Thank you.
yeah.
That was fantastic, and I just want to say thank you, Jack, for the context. That was great job.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, did you hear back from,
David's on,
oh, okay.
Yep. so you can move to go into
Yeah,
executive session, invite the board. I think you can invite our student rep
Okay,
and David
okay.
for privileged and confidential attorney-client communication.
I have a motion.
Quarter up.
So moved. Okay, second? Second. Okay, okay, so the motion has been made to go into executive session, to discuss privileged and confidential attorney-client communications,
With the administration invited and our.
and with the
student rep,
administration invited and our student rep invited and
our
David
attorney.
Rugg invited. Okay, could I have a motion to come out of executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, next on our agenda, reports to the board.
Lieutenant. Well, I have to, say that I messed up your revised vision.
Uh-oh.
I combined your prior and the new suggested in the current printed. So this is what is in the printed document, but it is not. World Class got left in, even though we changed the built upon and got rid of
Okay.
what had been proposed to strive. So it's a hybrid.
Okay,
We will get it fixed on the online version. And just know there's 400 printed copies that have this hybrid version of the vision, but we will get it fixed moving
Oh, good.
forward. So I recognized this earlier tonight. I was very focused on the wordsmithing we were doing with the striving versus built upon, and I got the built upon right, but left in world class, which we had removed.
Yeah.
So apologies for that. But we'll get it fixed moving forward. These are the 3 approved goals that are in the new revised strategic plan, which the principals and I will start reporting out on moving forward. I had the pleasure of being at the Royalton Senior Meal today and prior to the Chelsea Senior Meal, and the turnouts were really quite large, and folks are really engaged in regards to concerns around Act 73 and what it may mean for our schools and what it may mean for our kids in regards to where will they go to school, and folks wrapping their heads around this idea of a district from, Sharon all the way to Craftsbury. And, what does that mean and how would that work? And so, I said, listen, I think your elected officials, meaning your board members, and certainly your administration is committed to working hard to continue to be fiscally responsible, try to provide a high quality education for our kids. And we all agree that we got to do something to make the education fund more sustainable, right? And that may mean how we go about actually generating revenue for it, right? Right now, it's purely pretty much based on some different types of sales tax, right? And some lottery revenue and some cannabis revenue and property taxes. And, there's been proposals around how could we try to leverage income tax to help try to better support the ed fund. And I think there's some other metrics in regards to what came out of Act 73 study committee around, really looking at how do we better work regionally around things like transportation contracts? How do we better look at special ed costs and how to better provide specialized programming? But what isn't said that just has to be loud and clear is we have a healthcare crisis in the state.
Yeah.
That is a major contributor to increased costs year over year. And, a family plan now is $40,000 for the district. That's only 80%.
Yeah.
That means the other 20% is covered by our employees.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not sustainable.
No.
And, I said to Sharon, my biggest concern is too, that this school model starts to look a lot like how we've tackled healthcare in the state around the Green Mountain Care Board, which really drives you to budget deficits.
Mhm.
And so these hospitals are budgeting deficits. Now they're getting in major trouble, our rural hospitals, around cash flow issues and not being able to meet the creditors' needs. And so we're looking at possibly many regional hospitals having to close. And I don't think anyone wants to live in a state where you have a hospital in Dartmouth and a hospital in Burlington.
Yeah.
But that could be likely if we don't get healthcare under control in the state. And so I worry about that being the same trajectory we could have in our school system. So tomorrow is really important. I hope folks come out. You know, I think Senate Ed is really open-minded to try to figure out solutions to address the concerns that don't have to necessarily be about drawing maps. But you know, the power grab around centralizing governance is really clear. And I think, you know, there's this real desire, you know, the task force looked at Hawaii, right? They have one district and, you know, one superintendent. You know, these 5 districts, if you look at the makeup of these boards, my sense is they're really going to be reporting right back to the agency, really. If you start to look at the more power grab the agency has, like an example, you set local graduation requirements. Remember you revised them last?
Yeah.
The state board now is in statute is going to, starting for our graduating class of 2031, meaning when they enter in 2 years as freshmen, we're going to be working off statewide graduation requirements. That was in the miscellaneous ed bill.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of grabbing around centralized control, and it's worrisome for me. You know, I think that when they use the word equity, they mean equal, meaning we're all going to have the same freshman experience.
Yeah, right.
But that doesn't give our kids any type of personalization in what they want to pursue. And that's my biggest worry is that, and I've said over and over again to our local officials, equity means every person gets what they need, right? Like it's about individuals getting what they need. That is equity, and that looks different.
Yeah.
Equity doesn't mean it's all the same.
Yeah.
And I think we're trying to create an educational system that you could go throughout the state and it's the same in every freshman classroom. Same textbooks, same course requirements. And that's scary. I don't think that's why any of us chose to teach and or many of us live in Vermont. So I'll just add that to my report and take any questions folks may have.
Amy, I don't have a question, but I did want to say I appreciate your point there. And I think you know, I've got 2 T-shirts with a real big on the back, community is everything, right? I think that specific tailoring to our community values and things like that is very important. So I appreciate you bringing that up and really sticking to that and messaging that forward for us. So thank you.
Thanks, David.
Any other comments, questions for Jamie? Okay, principals.
So in order, I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. Excuse me. So I know all 3 of us have some functional things that are going on, benchmark testing, work that's ongoing. I'd like to point out a couple of things that seem related to where we're headed, our concerns and previous discussion here. I'd like to elaborate on something that's really important to us. A lot of school systems talk about how to grow student voice. I took it as a directive from both my colleagues and from my supervisors. We needed to grow that specifically as part of our community schools model, our vision, our approach. And we're at a point right now where I'm celebrating. We have a couple of ways that's actually flourishing in the middle school. And it's driven by people who understand the importance of developing students who can advocate. You think about our student rep talking about adulting skills of being able to format, of being able to present, engage people in civil discourse and make change. And we have a few different facets of that in our school right now. I wrote about our global studies class right now, global citizen class, both to tie into literacy, writing skills, but also advocacy. Students prepared a pile of well over 100 different letters were presented to me, and they were around some pretty reasonable and impactful ideas. Looking at how storage works, flow through the building, interactions with other schools, the structure of the school day being geared for learning, reducing disruption, some pretty impactful things. So I celebrate that. We're seeing that in classwork, but we're also seeing it very specifically with our CCC group, Culture Climate Committee. They are a student advocacy group, voice group that really took on the charge that came from our community conversations over the last couple of years about how specifically we honor the history of Whitcomb, but recognize our own identity. And what do we do with these objects, these ideas, these artifacts? Most recent meeting was today where this group proposed to me a way to look at how we arrange the lobby. And they were very clear on the mission of, we're not throwing anything away. They found a way to treat artifacts like something to be curated and something to tell a story. And they've approached it from the idea of building a museum that becomes a living museum and showcasing things side by side. And the tangible parts of that directly address some of the concerns that community members brought us. For example, a lot of concerns over an idea I would get rid of banners. Instead, we're looking at, well, now we know how to clean them and we've arranged for that to happen. We're putting into action things that directly respond to the community. The reason I mention this is, in this time of uncertainty and not knowing what our future of education brings, we have the latitude within our schools to build student advocacy. We're receiving students that are curious. We hope we're passing on to Shane students to continue that advocacy. And I didn't write about that directly, but it seems pretty pertinent right now. Thank you.
I would just highlight, I think this last month has brought us a lot of opportunities for community to be part of our campus. And I'd be remiss to not celebrate our concerts, which are always standing room only, somehow always. There's always people standing in the back, not enough seats. And Ryan Garrett, we love him. He's continued with us since last year. I thought he put together such a lovely concert. It was wonderful here. And new to us in Bethel, Martha Higgins. So I sent Jamie a picture. It's a full house when everyone shows up. And everyone's smiling and taking pictures, and just not in the front row for all the people who want to take pictures of the babies up on their stage. So it was lovely to have the concerts. Also lovely, our art teachers always come out and put up the artwork, and so kids can walk through and show their parents some pieces they saw. So 2 feel-good nights for us on both campuses. We also, our food service, I know we all can talk about this because we all did it, but have a feast on each campus. And so we just had our South Royalton feast, which again, another super highly attended. People come out to eat with their kids and enjoy school food, but it's really well done. And I think it's more special, not more special, it's extra special in Royalton because our high school kids serve the meal. Always fun for me to see them in hairnets. But it's also nice for our younger kids to see them helping out too. And then I think finally just the book fair, just so many lovely things that happen all in the same time frame. So I think that is my biggest highlight, is all the wonderful community events that we have.
Keeping with the community theme, this past Friday, we hosted 8 students from the First Branch district for Shadow Day. And our counseling department and our student ambassador clubs have worked really hard to put together a meaningful day and experience for those students. At the end, they were able to see part of the celebration of learning for the elective seminars. So that was a great opportunity to really kind of see some of the unique things that we do here at WRUDB Valley. And I had a chance to connect with them all before they got on the bus to head back. And they just had very positive things to say. Specifically feedback about how nice and kind people were and helpful, and just greeting them, showing them around the school, and welcoming them into our community. So that was great. We have spent a lot of time talking about and preparing for the Senate Ed visit tomorrow, which we've spent some time talking about here, making sure that the school looks great, that students and teachers are prepared to speak with, have conversations, answer questions. Our classrooms, our hallways, the bulletin boards are all reflective of learning that's going on and meaningful student experiences. And we look forward to showcasing our school to them tomorrow. And lastly, we had a group from our Architas robotics team, which is a community robotics club. We've had some alumni from WRUDB Valley that have been team members in the past, but they came to present at our morning meeting this past week. trying to recruit new membership for the season that starts in January. It just gets my mind rolling about other flexible pathway opportunities as well. And Mr. Boynton and I have already been having conversations. We're just waiting for students to sign up and express their interest so we can figure out what they might be doing and how we can design some credit-bearing work for them through our flexible pathways program.
I can add one piece to what he said. I know I'm not a principal or anything, but
No, that's good.
the shadowing that happened when students came, I was one of the people that got shadowed. And one of the things he actually said was how when they first came here, there was a big emphasis on finding what they wanted to do. And when whoever I was shadowing, I don't know if I can name names, I don't really need to, but the person I was shadowing at the convention, I forgot the name of it, on Friday, the elective seminar gathering, he said it was good to see how we catered to the needs of students instead of just teaching to a standard like that doesn't include people who like might not learn that way. And he had a big emphasis on that. But I was just, I don't know, I believe the best opinion is the people who are. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you all very much. It's always great to hear what's going on. Okay, so,
Tara's still in Sharon. I don't know when she'll wrap up. I told her I can grab her reports and stuff
okay.
tonight. So we got discussion items, the audit, which she should have provided you, but she also provided you an overview sheet that we'll go over under that action item. In general, it's all positive news. Also budget 3 draft, we'll talk about that tonight. And then Tara gives you all the reports that are due. I mean, you know, one of the things that we're still waiting on is our long-term weighted average daily membership finalized, which is going to be important when we go to finalize your budget next month and work on that tax sheet, which we'll want to be able to give to you at a special meeting in January so we can get your feedback, and then so that we could take action at the second meeting in January, you know, your normal meeting, because your normal meeting's a bit late in January, the way the calendar landed this year. So these are all the reports that the AOE requires in December. December 15th was busy. And now she's working toward all the reports they're requiring in the upcoming month. But happy to take any questions folks may have for the business office.
Guess there are none. Okay. Policy committee.
David is all over this.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I was still trying to figure out every time it comes up. It was C34. It is now C36 for not this one, but the next one. This is C33. They're really truly the only thing that's come up since the last time I talked to you all about this is that there is still there's a couple of small references that we just are tidying up just to make sure that the language, as it's referred to the policy, the name of this program is going to be the same throughout, so that there's no confusion about what specific lines are talking about. But there, other than that, no changes since the last time we talked about this. I did want to make sure, as far as our previous discussions, I don't think there's really been much question from us, from the RUD board members, but if there are, certainly happy to bring those to the full policy committee. But yeah, there have not been substantial changes. Jamie, was there anything? I don't remember anything else.
I actually did get that change in this actual version. It was under transportation. I did clean that up to make it K interest supervisory union transfer.
Okay, fantastic.
No, and frankly, the boards all seem to be in agreement around this now. So my plan is, unless I hear different at our December full board meeting, to warn this in the papers for adoption in January. I think it'll be approved across the districts.
That's great.
Good.
And C36?
Yes, so C36 again is the behavioral threat assessment teams. Again, no major changes here. I apologize, I haven't been on top of this one. For clarity, I started a new position and I'm very excited about it, but the last couple 3 weeks have been kind of a whirlwind on my end. But Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong. This is our first reading through with the RUD board.
I believe you
Or is
guys,
this second? Did we go back?
you may have seen this actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
And so the only change that you'll see for adoption next month is that number 1, which is a footnote, will actually look like a footnote.
Okay.
Okay, right. That's right. Yes. My initial reaction was, oh, we have an errant 1, and then no, that's a footnote. So anyway, you have to be able to laugh at yourself, you know. No, so if anybody has any questions again about this one, please bring those forward. There was some pretty good, meaningful discussion at our policy meeting about some of the language in here, and I can't remember if I shared this with the Red Board. So if I did, please interject unless you want to hear it again. But a lot of our meaningful discussion was about some of the language about the training and making sure that we are trained. The members of these teams are trained in a way that is, hang on, it's right down at the bottom. Sorry. I'm used to being in person and having these on paper. So sorry, I'm not in the room.
It's in regards to behavioral threat assessment teams will be trained to operate in a manner that fosters awareness of and avoids bias, discrimination, and disproportionate impact on students in historically marginalized communities. The state model had that worded differently, that we didn't feel like it emphasized the bias work that we would be doing with those teams on a regular basis. And so we did some wordsmithing there to really bring that work out to ensure that it was clear that that work is important.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Jamie. I just wanted to highlight that because there's other members of the policy committee who really had some great input there to make sure that that is strong and meaningful language for about the way that these folks will be trained. So
Thank you, Dave.
thank you.
Okay. Follow up on X73.
I kind of gave you a bunch of it already. You know, all I would add is that it'll be really interesting to get a read tomorrow, send it in regards to, are they going in believing they're going to work on maps? Or are they going in thinking that they can seek an alternative in regards to adjusting X73? They go in full-fledged for maps, it worries me. Because then it appears that Democratic leadership is serious about trying to get to a map, which they have said forthright politically. But there's something to say, yes, we need to do something. We're going to pursue maps, but then really pushing it through. Yeah. And remember, I mean, the Democrats in the Senate had a real hard, I mean, Act 73 barely passed with a Democratic majority. It was, it was almost a minority. And so is Democratic leadership going to push through a bipartisan map bill that may not actually have the majority of Democrats supporting it?
Yeah.
That's what's going to be interesting here to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
What's so sad is we're talking about our kids and our future of our kids in our state. And it's become so political in gamesmanship around this topic.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, draft number 3 of fiscal year 27 expenditure budget.
So the admin team, your 3 principals and I met with Tara to work on this budget. We still have work to do, just so you know. you know, where you're at right now, the changes that you have in here from last month is we did remove the fourth principal.
Oh, you did?
Yes, yeah, so this overall expenditure budget has 3 principals in it.
Sorry, Andrea.
Okay.
It's all right, she's got it. Because, you know, I mean, we're up as what you currently have in a budget in front of you is a 1.3 million increase. Which overall is up 9.17%.
Yikes.
And based on a penny of last year, that'd be 14 cents. So that would be one of the more significant increases on the expenditure side. That it would probably be the most we've ever put forth as a district. I mean, maybe prior to me, the new district did, but I don't believe that you've gone over $1 million in expenditures in the past. Certainly in my 5 years working with you to put budgets forth prior, we've never come close to, you know, last year was the most, which was 800,000, but this is 1.3 million. And so other thing you should know is that we did remove the middle school unfilled 0.6 FTE from this budget that we haven't been able to fill. That is removed from this expenditure.
That's the world languages?
Yeah, I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah.
You know, the other changes we made is, I just wanted you to know professional services there, right underneath regular ed instruction, 322. We have been carrying some extra funds there for materials and things. We haven't, you see, our actuals were 48,000, so we've lowered that some. Tara and I will meet with the administrators to really get it dialed in on what other consumables we have. We may be able to lower that a little more as well. I need to touch base with Tara around 321 contracted instructional services, just to ensure that that lines up exactly what we have with school-based clinicians and BIs forecasted for next year. My hope is we may be carrying one more BI in there than we need. So I'm hoping that number will come down some, is what I'm telling you, in that regard. Those are the highlights that I really have for you where we're at right now, is that we've removed that world language 0.6. The principal was removed. I wanted to talk to you about those numbers because those were the biggest swings in those contracted service numbers. My hope is that we can bring down that one even some more, and possibly both of them. And then, you know, one of the things that I need to talk to the board tonight about in executive session and want to get a real sense from you is what steps we want to take of the apple, which I put in my board report around compliance around classroom sizes, and minimum classroom sizes. And so I want to have that conversation with you to just get your feeling through that. And then that will give us some guidance in our next draft of the budget. You know, in the next draft of the budget, we will bring forward to you, you know, your total expenditure budget, which will change from this one. My hope is less. And then also give you your revenue side, but then your, you know, your weighted pupils and your CLA and everything to see what does this actually mean in regards to taxes. The good news is your preliminary weighted pupils look to hold constant. We didn't gain, but it doesn't appear we're going to lose any, which is good because a majority of the state is losing pupils based on two factors. One, we know population does continue to go down, but two, the weights are based a great deal on free and reduced lunch rates. And when Medicaid, if you qualify for Medicaid, then you're direct served in regards to qualifying for free and reduced lunch. And we provide universal meals right now, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to rely on direct serve, meaning that you qualify, or we're asking our families to fill out those home income forms, which we ask people to do, and we try to explain what it is, but we struggle to get free and reduced lunch paperwork provided, filled out prior. Mm-hmm. And now we're asking families, like, can you just tell us what your home income is? Because it helps us with weights, right? Like the whole system's messed up to me in regards to
means test.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's how it's going. But free and reduced lunch rates across the state are dropping. And those are a big driver to student weights. So our long-term weighted averages take all those things into account. And so the good news is that your weights and our students seem to be holding steady. So when the governor talks about a 12% increase, he knows that the weights are dropping across the state, so he's factoring that in.
Mhm.
The yield number from the December 1 tax letter went up. That's good news. We're not going to gain a lot, but we might gain a half a penny actually. It also tells me that he knows that he is going to use paying down the tax rate again as a chip in the session, because if he wasn't planning to make up for that lost revenue that he provided, that yield number would have went down, and the D1 letter, it went up. So that is the overall things I have about the budget right now. Any questions? Yeah.
I have a question. I don't know, I haven't looked or maybe didn't ask how many kids we're sending to alternative placements in our district. And I know we have the new program. Is there potential for kids we're sending away? I'm thinking of schools like EVA or somewhere like that to come into the program to save money, maybe not next year, but in the future.
The answer is yes, that we do continue to work to bring kids back. So as a supervisory union, we have right now 10 students out of district placed.
Okay.
And we do have 1 student on a wait list, which would bump that number to 11. Within those 10, I've asked Rebecca to get me a report based on IEP teams, what students may we be looking to be able to transition back to our SU from those remaining 10. We have actually been able to bring back 2 students already that were out of district placed back in this year due to some of our alternative programming that we built at Waterman, and been able to stop what I would have at least seen probably another 4 or 5 that would have ended up out of district.
Okay.
So my hope is, yes, we may be able to better serve a few more internally. You know, the high school personalized learning classroom brought back several over the years even prior to Waterman.
Okay.
I would say, the biggest chunk that we're looking to tackle now as an SU, Julie, is better programming for students on the autism spectrum, and also in regards to more global concerns in regards to some intellectual delays. And that is the programming that when I decided to recommend Rebecca to the board for hire, her background doing some of that work is what really, to me, brought her forward as a candidate, because I felt like as an SU, that was an area where we lacked expertise in best serving. But what we are finding is more and more students who fit that type of profile that need our services, right? And, this idea that there's other outside districts that can serve, like, most of the alternative placements now have major wait lists. What's really sad I see now too is they literally take several applicants and I believe decide which one might best fit their program or be easier to serve at times. I worry about, and that some of our most intensive need for specialized services then get waitlisted.
Okay.
I'm seeing that. I wish I wasn't. I mean,
Let's do that.
it feels ill, right? Like, but that is what I'm starting to see. At least that's what I've concluded I'm seeing, based on how long some folks have been waitlisted. This is where I think BOCES, boards of centralized educational services, and we all need to be working regionally to build these types of programs, because we know we can do it in-house for way less than what we're being charged, right? Because it's all over 6 figures now.
It's crazy.
And this idea that these alternative programs are not making revenue off of that it's just not true when you look at their budgets. I mean, they are. The nonprofit type independent schools.
Okay.
So thanks for asking that
Yeah.
question. And your SU assessments are based on current drafts. We're still working on the SU budget. Of course, we don't have a finalized SU budget yet, which is where some of these special ed costs will come in too. We did budget in the SU for 3 more special educators, 2 of which to help support some of that specialized programming I'm talking about. 1 at Waterman, but 1 to also provide some more specialized programming at the elementary levels to better serve students in an inclusive way, but to provide more expertise of how to do inclusionary practices well for students on the spectrum.
Great. Okay, building
Goodness,
project, phase
Yes,
2. Planned for summer of 2026. You're
That's you,
on.
sir. I know you're sleeping back there.
There he is.
Parker, you got my slides? Sweet.
Sorry to keep you.
No worries, I
Waiting.
enjoyed it. I don't mind it. I came early for a reason. I could have came later.
Loves it.
I do love it. It's my dream someday. Next slide. Real quick. So here today, obviously you guys have seen me before back during the bond vote that came up. So we've obviously had some changes since the bond, elimination of the performing arts edition, the wood shop. Really trying to make sure anything we do today wouldn't limit any of those future projects, if you guys choose to do that in the future. Elimination of the enclosed walkway, and then really what stays the same is really transforming that existing gym into performing arts, creating that secured entrance and lobby area for the new performing arts or existing gym transformation, security improvements at both schools, energy improvements at both schools, and fuel switching here at Royalton, getting them off of oil and eliminating old fuel oil tank, and then improved ventilation as well. So next slide. So we've been hard at work over the last, 5-6 months, kind of getting into the details of how this new addition is going to work, or new secured entrance, while making sure that we're doing it in the most cost-effective way. This is kind of the revised design of the entry. I know originally we kind of talked about doors coming off the front of the building, but due to the location of the driveway and kind of ADA access, we decided to go with doors on the side. We originally showed, this ADA lift out into the lobby. After kind of doing a review of the space, I think it makes a lot more sense to build it into the actual stage in the back corner, which is currently unused, or it's a storage area that would get demoed under the project. That creates a little bit more lobby area out here. This bathroom area is getting reworked as we speak because it takes up too much space. So this is something that we're trying to shorten and get into this corner over here, but maintaining an ADA bathroom as well as a normal stall as well. So 2 new bathrooms going in, and then really trying to create a lobby entrance feel over here, probably with some type of seating as well that would be incorporated. Next slide. Stage upgrades. So the stage upgrades are really just kind of getting scaled back for the most part, but we still are accomplishing really what we wanted to do. So lighting and audio system upgrades. Instead of having, the full plethora of lights we originally thought, we want to give you guys the baseline system that you need with the ability to build off of it in the future and add additional lighting. Same thing with the audio upgrades. So that would include speakers, new lapels, possibly looking at new speakers also in the gymnasium, and then having actually speakers up on the stage with speakers kind of incorporated into the new stage seating as well. So it's really going to provide a surround sound feeling in there. The elevator lift for the wheelchair access, that would be incorporated into the stage. Painting everything black, well, the stage black, the ceilings, not the walls, the brick would maintain. Doing new acoustical ceiling tiles, or not ceiling tiles, but actual panels up between the metal trusses. And then also looking at adding auditorium seating. So as you walk into the existing gym, up that ramp on the right-hand side, the existing bleachers would come out, and we would go back with a new 6-row bleachers that would be able to be brought out into the middle of the gym, and then that would create a stage seating so that people would be able to see their kids performing up on the stage. And then also the cool thing about that auditorium seating, it is movable. It will fit through this door that you see right here that leads into your new gym. So that could be something that's brought out if you wanted to increase capacity out there as well. And we talked about the sound attenuation on the walls and the ceilings.
I had a question about the sound. When the kids were doing a play last month, there's the fans, those big fans
Yep.
overhead, is anything gonna be able to be done about those?
Yes, we are addressing, I'm gonna get into, we're gonna do new control upgrades and then also addressing sound with the ventilation
Cause
system as well.
it's just so sad, the kids have worked so hard and then their sound is just getting sucked up by those fans.
They were very loud, yeah.
Yeah,
And the same thing goes for kind of the unit ventilators in there. So I have some modifications that we're gonna make to some of those systems, and depending on kind of fundraising, we might be able to actually replace some of that equipment as well. But yeah, no, we will be addressing that. Actually, part of the project is adding 3 stage mics. So we'll actually have mics that hang down from above the ceiling, and that's gonna pick up the kids' voices a lot more. And then that's gonna go out into the speakers that we're gonna put into the gymnasium as well.
nice.
Next slide. ECM2, security upgrades at Bethel. These are addressing both the middle school and the elementary school entrances. Also, we've had some design changes here that are gonna save us a little bit of money, and I think ultimately provide kind of a better look for it. Originally, we kind of had this coming in and bumping out. We had the double doors side by side. The revised design, these become your main entry in and out. These essentially become emergency egresses only. We have to maintain the 4 doors due to the amount of people inside the school. This area that you see in this picture here, the wall goes straight across. So the brick will go across here. We actually have to fix some of the structural supports on the hollow steel tubes that's supporting your guys' roof system because they're starting to rot out. So we're gonna do that. We did find out there's a frost wall underneath that. So we're able to actually build off of some of that existing concrete foundation. And then instead of doing kind of the individual ramp up to the ADA door, we're actually gonna gradually ramp the asphalt up to this. So there's gonna be no stairs leading into the space. And then we also have some stormwater issues that we have to deal with over here because this is kind of an area here and here that collects water through the parking lot. So we also are gonna have to probably do a catch basin and probably redirect that to your guys' stormwater mitigation system.
I just think that will look way more natural
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the front of the building versus building out.
yeah,
And then really, it creates that double secured. So, there'll be both a push button access to let people into the main door, and then also a push button to also let them into the existing doors. These doors that you see right here, they show them as, you guys won't know it, but these are kind of shown as existing. These are actually going to get replaced too. So the old wood doors are going to end up having to come out. We'll keep the stainless or all the stained glass around the perimeter of it. All new hardware on all the doors. They'll work great. So they'll have that same wood look. I can't mimic the original patina of that wood, but there'll be a nice, maple finish most likely. So new A phones, key fob access, both inside and outside of the doors that are going to be associated. Same key fob at Royalton that you'll have at Bethel, so you guys don't have to carry around 2 anymore. And then looking at also upgrading a handful of cameras to the Verkada camera system. Next slide. This space right here, adding ventilation, new energy recovery unit going on the roof. We've determined that it's going to go just on the other side of that wall and kind of in the corridor area. It's the best spot for structural steel. New ductwork would come into this space as well as the science room next door to us. This place will get new ventilation with dehumidification. So this will be at least one space in the summertime that you can get some cool and reprieve from the heat. Next slide. Retro commissioning and analytics. There's still a handful of pneumatics controls here at this school. So your existing gym that you were talking about, the units in there are run through an air-based system, which makes it very difficult to control when you're off of the normal schedule. So right now, a lot of things operate from 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then the equipment shuts down. It goes into like a night savings mode. We would update the controls in that existing gym. There's a few pneumatics, a few control issues over at Bethel that would get addressed as well as part of this project. And then providing post control support and energy modeling through our analytics software for 3 years after that. Also addressing exhaust fans and some of the other fans in the gymnasium. You guys have a little bit too much ventilation in some of your guys' spaces, so we're going to dial that in a little bit for some wasted energy use. Next slide. And then ECM 5, doing the fuel switch. So converting this building from oil to propane. You guys have a oil tank that's just about 30 years old. So we'd be getting rid of the fuel oil tank that's currently located right here, right outside that wall. And essentially add new propane tanks over here, repipe over to the mechanical room, convert the boilers to propane, get rid of the propane tank that feeds your kitchen, combine that to the same propane tank farm over there as well. And then that's the fuel switch. Next slide. So right now we are in the details. So great news, we went through the other day. There's no asbestos on any of the things that we're touching. We were able to make like a small adjustment to kind of how the layout in that front entry vestibule works. So there's going to be like a little column in between the two doors that essentially saves me like 70 or 80 grand in structural steel that we can put money towards elsewhere in the project. So those are kind of part of the design development that we're in right now, trying to optimize it for your guys' use. We are finalizing the construction sets, which should be done here very shortly. And if all goes well and you guys approve the work, we'd be jumping in right in spring 2026 with some start of some of the projects, really starting summer 2026 and really trying to be done by September 1st, substantially complete.
Wow.
So it will be a quick schedule, but we do it all the time. Should be fine. The only thing that might go a little bit longer is the Performing Arts Center, just kind of depending on what the scope of work is and how far we take it, if there's donations that continue to come in and we add to the scope as it goes. Next slide. Project cost. Total project budget of $2,264,000 with some rebates from Efficiency Vermont on the retro commissioning. Puts it right in total project cost of $2,247,000. So that's
And then just to remind the board that we believe out of that 2247, that we should have so the conservative figure would be 550,000 fund raised.
Okay.
We have another large donor that I do believe will come through. At least they've indicated they will come through if we take action to do a project to improve the performing arts area. We just don't have that in writing, but that would come through anywhere from another 100 to 250. So, I think the conservative is 550. That doesn't come through at all, or could be as high as 800,000 coming off of that 2247 number.
Okay.
And also, for everybody's, just as a reminder, in communicating this, when folks start asking questions, public starts asking questions about this project and financing and all of that, not only is this completing the building needs, the things that must happen, we are also making sure that we are not losing that $500,000 by not completing what I feel are also needed upgrades, but those are tied to those upgrades to the performing arts assets that we have in our building. So just if people start seeing that number, we can kindly remind them that what is that? Approximately 25% of that is money that we would be just completely losing and not being able to utilize that to its best extent.
These are energy savings shown in the middle column that you see there. I know it was brought up at one point that you guys do spend a significant amount of money renting lighting and sound equipment through the year. So that I think someone threw out maybe 15,000 a year roughly in that. So that could be a savings as well to the school when it be needed.
And ADA left recently. Sometimes you do that.
And an 88 left, yep, which would be permanent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
So the facilities task force, we looked at these numbers. I mean, this, even with what we discussed earlier tonight, right? And because you'll see that that will assist us in mitigating the stormwater. So
Oh,
there's nothing in the budget here for that.
yeah.
And we would address that if we needed to. But anyways, the point being, well, what we fundraise and even with what we discussed based on if, how we use your current projected surplus, not projected, confirmed surplus from last year. That, the audit has, we have about just over 2 million in reserves right now. And then we have another 300 and essentially 50,000 that we could ask the voters to put into if they needed to. We're not going to drain our reserves to nothing. We should be able to walk away from the project, having right around, my hopes is based on fundraising, if we do really well, still like about 400,000 in reserves. That's sort of what the facilities task force has talked about, is trying to stay no less than 200, but ideally we'd like to be 400.
Okay. Sounds good.
David, does that summarize what we've discussed in that regard?
Yes, absolutely. And in my opinion, I think that is a very responsible place to be leaving, our situation, our reserves. So.
Yeah, so with this number, less the 550,000 in secured donations, it puts you at just below 1.7 million in capital funds.
Okay.
I have a random question. If you could go back a couple of slides to the Bethel
Entrance?
security entrance, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm just curious, where are people, will people be like at a window in between those, or will they just be looking at a camera? Like, where will they be? Will they be safe and not in those?
Yes, so currently this is your administrative area right here. This window is an accessible window that could be opened up. We can view the people in here. These would be double locked doors. So there'd be a security entrance to get into the door. They would come talk to the administrator at the desk who'd be behind. This is a brick wall. Currently it's just a typical window. We're not really planning on changing it much. Sometimes we'll go with like a teller style with like the talking voice in it. That could be an option. And then essentially that person there would press the button after these doors close and lock, and that would unlock these and then you can access the school.
Okay, so I would just think about safety for the people sitting there. Like, if there's any way they could be as safe as possible. And so potentially the first line of attack of someone coming into the
It
school.
wouldn't be tough to make this a security window.
Okay.
Yeah. The opening's already there, so we could certainly do that.
Any other questions?
And then the other thing that we kind of talked about on the other side, you talked about security, but adding some vinyl graphics to some of the open windows that are currently there so people can't see through them. So that's part of the project. That's more on the elementary school side. On the elementary school side, we have a lot of door hardware improvements. We're infilling one of the existing doors over there that leads to a pre-K room. So there's no longer a direct path over there. It's not pre-K probably, I don't know.
First grade. That's okay, you don't
First
need to know everything.
Sorry.
I was making certain the principal knew more.
I know it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just wall them all in, it's fine.
And then doing badge access improvements. So actually all the elementary school, currently the doors have door handles on them. All of the exterior door handles come off. We put a blank plate over there so people can't utilize those doors. Interior doors all get new crash bars on them. So we take out the existing door handles. They become an emergency exit only at that point. And then we add card access. There's already card access on the door out to the playground. And then we add a second one to the interior door that leads into the elementary school. So essentially, it's going to be card access to get everywhere in and out of the building.
So the elementary classrooms, they will no longer be able to use those doors like at recess time and stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And it kind of forces everybody to go out through the corridor, creates for cleaner spaces. People aren't tracking stuff.
Well, and yeah, I mean, the more, you look at safety audits and things, those doors in general in all of our elementary schools are some of our most riskiest points in regards to being propped open or not locked and being, making us just susceptible for an intruder. Which is, it was awful in regards to that, the Texas shooting, that was the case, was that it was a door like that that had been left unlocked or ajar
Yeah.
that the intruder used.
Anything else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay,
Yeah.
the audit.
So you have the audit and it's warned for possible action here in a few minutes. There's one real compliment to Tara that there were no findings in our audits across the 7 entities. I think the most important thing in regards to the audit, aside from that, is, and she gives you some details if you really want to go looking in and see budgets versus actuals, and they'll give you some sense of how we've adjusted some of the budget lines, is that, page 13, the balance sheet leaves us an unassigned fund balance of $347,677, that the board will need to make some decisions around whether we want that to then be put into capital funds, or do we use part of it as offsetting revenue and put some into capital funds? Last year, we didn't use any surplus for revenue. We put it toward capital funds. And we weren't in a position to need to buy down any tax rate. That's just something that we may need to talk about the pros and cons of that as we go into this coming year. The other thing for us to be considering too, which I am excited that we're utilizing some of our major capital funds to improve the buildings, is that, if for some reason Act 73 comes to fruition and this district is force merged with a like district, or a really large SD, all those capital funds go to the new SD. They don't stay with the district.
Yeah.
So if people are wondering why we're spending down the capital funds, I think we say we're doing major building improvements to make these better facilities for the future of our kids. But if they're like, well, why would you not just save those? And over time, I think we can also say we also wanted to make certain that those funds that the voters voted to put away stayed with the buildings that they put that money away toward.
Yeah.
So that is the audit.
Any questions?
Tara's more than willing to sit down with any board member to go over the 100 and some page audit.
That's okay, I'll pass.
I did that early in, and now I know which pages are really important for me to look at.
Next up, board clerk and treasurer positions.
Did you get any more information
I
on this?
did not get any more information. Is Peggy
Peggy,
still with
she's
us?
not.
Okay.
So I think we get some clarity. I'm gonna reach out. So our board clerk and our board treasurer are elected, actually on the evening of your floor vote, okay? And so our board clerk right now is our Royalton Town clerk. And our board treasurer is our Bethel Town clerk. Pam's still the town clerk, right?
And I was thinking that, because I'm gonna go see Carmen tomorrow anyways.
Perfect.
I was gonna talk
Touch
to her
base.
about this.
So they are, I think, what I am gathering is they're looking for us to possibly look to stipend them, which we can put on the warning, by the way. We do that in some towns, so that's something we need to think about for the annual warning. And the voters just approve a stipend for the clerk of the board or a stipend for the treasurer. And then also what I think they're asking for right now is if the board would support some assistive support for them the night of the election,
Yeah.
because they're trying to do the towns and our ballot counting. And the BCA's do the counting, but just to have someone oversee it, because then at the end of the day, because Carmen is the elected clerk, she has to certify it all. But I think she's looking for some help.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that makes sense,
She
Nancy.
feels like she can't oversee both the town and the school.
If you want to check in with
elections.
her
Yeah, I'll
to
talk
just
to her
get
tomorrow.
some sense of how we could be helpful. That'd be great. I mean, they're both awesome. Pam and her work really well together, and you know, it's in our articles of agreement that we counted one spot because they commingled the votes.
Yeah,
I think that adds another complexity. We didn't move it, remember, to Royalton last year, so they at least could be in the same place. Because originally we were doing it at the SU offices.
oh, okay.
So just find out from her, some of that has to do with how our articles of agreement were written. You know, and I agree with why they did it the way they did. They wanted to make certain the votes were commingled so that folks couldn't say the vote went down in this town, but it was passed,
Yeah.
right? It's to bring us together.
Yeah.
So I agree with why that was, but I get why it makes it more difficult. I did remind her, it's good to remind her again too, Nancy, that because they're commingled and we're a unified district, they are not required to have to count them that night. They have 24 hours from the close of the polls.
Oh,
I think they like to do it that night because the BCAs are there, which I get to. But if it's helpful, they could actually lock them up and transport them and count them the next day. Because we're a unified district.
great.
Like I know where Shane and I live in Washington Central, they do commingle the votes and count the next day from the 5 towns.
Okay. Great.
There you go. Well, it's because I've always wanted to know how the results were, and I then learned that they did them the next day, which made sense coming from 5 towns.
Yeah. Okay. Action, possible action. Okay.
So the first one is to approve me to review and execute the phase 2 performance contract with EEI Services that was just provided for you tonight. That's the action I would need to get that done. And then that would allow me to then share that with our anonymous donor, which they are looking for us to have committed to a project by the first of the year.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
Awesome. That's exciting news.
Yeah. And we also need to approve the audit.
Yeah, you have to move to accept the FY25 fiscal audit.
Okay.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Tara will be happy.
Okay. Any public comment? Do we have any public? No? Okay. Any new hires, resignations?
Nothing.
Okay.
Good.
That's
Quiet on that
always
front's
good.
good.
We are now going to go into executive session. Could we have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't think we need our student rep for this one.
We are now returning to public session. Is there any other business? No?
No, Nancy, I did want to, for future agenda items, at some point, I do want to discuss, I met with somebody from Department of Public Safety who is in charge of school safety in a way that they have resources to talk to groups of folks, and I think it would be an interesting discussion for our board with resources, but I haven't actually gotten any of the physical copies of resources to share and things, but they are not. Education is public safety department, so I think they could really be a really good resource for us.
Okay,
Cool.
For
Thank-
staff training and for physical infrastructure, so.
Great, thank you, Dave. I will pass that on to Jamie. Okay, next meeting date? January 20th, 7 PM at Bethel.
We were talking about having an earlier one
Yeah.
in January. So
Yeah,
should
and
we schedule that right
we
now,
will
or-
probably be calling for a special meeting earlier than that to do budget.
Right.
So,
Okay.
to
make
be
sense to-
announced,
Like, figure out dates now, or probably not without Jamie?
yeah.
Yep, okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
See you all later.